next speaker is the scientific director of the Nature for Cities project. Her name is Marjorie Musy. She is researcher at CEREMA and the joint manager of the IRSTV, so l'Institut de RecherchedesSciences et Techniques de la Ville. She's going to explain you, I think, a little bit more about it. And her topic is today how to choose the NBS fitting to your needs. Marjorie, the stage is yours.
Okay, thank you. Dear attendees, I am speaking from Nantes in France, and I'm happy to be with you for this sunny morning. And now I will present the different tools that have been developed in this project to find NBS corresponding to one's expectations. Sorry. The presentation will be in three parts. The first one is about databases. The second one will outline the proposed ways to choose the NBS. And to finish, I will show the developed tools. In Nature for Cities, two databases have been constituted: the urban NBS databases and the project database. The urban NBS database is constituted of generic urban NBS. We listed 75 generic NBS, and we proposed a classification for them based on three first categories. You can see here the classification, and the three first categories that are action, strategies, and objects. These categories are subdivided in subcategories, and here is only developed the subcategories for objects. And we decided to do it in a very practical way. And you can see the objects are divided on objects that are underground, objects that are related to water, or objects that are NBS that are related to building and structure. And then you can see the types and then the NBS that are so classified, and that you can find very easily in this classification. Then, over this 75 NBS, 57 have been deeply documented in fact sheets, giving information on the NBS and the different variation you can find in this NBS, the urban challenge it address, the stakeholders, the design specification, the implementation models that can be used, and alternative solutions. The other database is a project database. It contains 98 projects that have been selected based on two different criteria. Some of them have been selected for their pioneer feature. The others have been selected to their interesting implementation models. The projects have been documented, and part of them have been transferred to the OPLA platform. Now I will present the different ways we propose to exploit these databases, and that we adapted to different expectations. The first entry is simple exploration mode for NBS and project for people who, for example, don't know NBS. It can be done through a visualization tool for NBS entities, or through the GeoCluster tool, so on a map, for the projects. I will do demonstration of those two tools. The other way is when somebody wants to answer to a specific issue. For example, searching NBS and project answering to different specific challenges, urban challenges, environmental or social. This can be done through the GeoCluster for NBS tool and using a pre-selection tool. And then, having chosen NBS, one can check their application or replicability to one set. And this is done using a replicability tool in the GeoCluster. I will now show how these tools are working. First, the interactive NBS visualization tool. You have here a picture. I go to the tool. I hope it will work. Yes, it's work. This interactive NBS visualization tool has been developed as an interactive tool to explore the urban NBS world. Here you have the classification you have seen before in another kind of tree. For the moment, 3 languages have been implemented. Here you have the French version, and I will switch to the Hungarian version. And you also finish in the English version for everybody to do the demo. Here you can develop the classification from the NBS. Here you have the categories, the subcategories, and the types, and to finish the NBS. If you select NBS, you can see the you can see on your right, sorry, I have the panel. You can see on the right the description of this NBS. I can choose, I will choose another here, for example, with a picture of the NBS, a short description, the challenge, benefits and co-benefits it address, the scale, the short description, and you have an access to the fact sheets. On the screen, here you see the challenge that are addressed also by the NBS and the classification. You can select a challenge. Here I select water management challenge. On the right, you have the challenge description with the sub-challenges. And you can see all the NBS answering to this challenge. There is also a searching tool where, for example, here I try the wood, and I will see all the NBS contain for which in the short description there is the word wood. There are the age and the wood and the insect hotel in which the word wood is contained. So as you can see, this tool is perfect to explore, to discover, to go very quickly and in an attractive way. Now the GeoCluster. It has 4 functionalities. The first one is to explore the Pioneer project and implementation project database. This can be done on a map. Then there is the NBS typology that can also be explored in this tool, and the pre-selection functionality and replicability. I will show it through a demo. It will be more expressive. Then here you have the 4 functionalities I was speaking. The project database, pre-selection tool, replicability, NBS typology. I go to the project database. Here you have the map with projects. And for example, I try to come in Nantes. I am in Nantes. And I select here one project in Nantes. I can discover the green roof of the MSSR school. Here I have the short description. I can download the fact sheet of this project. and I can check its replicability. I won't do it for the moment, but you can check the replicability directly from the project. And you can also select a project in the right panel directly from the list. I will choose the same one so that we can have the longer description at the end of the panel with the photo of the project and different info on this project, such as the NBS included in it and the urban challenge address here. In the menu, it was the same than the menu at the home page. So I have already shown you the projects database. Then the NBS typology here. You can see the typology, but in a list mode, the objects. I try here large urban public park, and I have the urban challenge it answer, and I can download the fact sheet and check replicability. Where can I apply this kind of NBS? I will show you the replicability at the end. Now the pre-selection tool. The pre-selection tool is for actors who want to find solution to specific issues. And then we start from the different urban challenges. Here you have the 5 families of urban challenges about climate, environment, resource, social, and economy. I will today will choose climate and environment. Then go to the. You can also select all of them, but it won't be so interesting because you will have all the solution at the end. And when I have selected the 2 topics, I can then be more go more in detail. For example, choosing, I will choose here all of them. It's possible to choose all climate adaptation, climate mitigation, water management, biodiversity, and soil management. I'm interested in all of that. And then next, and then I can choose the scale at which I am working. I want solution at the district scale and at the entity scale also, because I want to work on building, for example. And then show project and NBS, and I have the map with all the projects that address the challenges I have selected and working at the scales I have selected on the map. And sorry, and here I have the and also on the left panel the NBS that are answering also entities and project. Oh, sorry, I have problems with the Zoom. So it's a way to select, and then I can choose one and check the replicability. I will go directly to the check replicability because it's easier to show it from here for me in the demo, but you can start from a project or start from NBS. When you start from a project, it's landowner replicability. This project in this city, can I apply it to my city? When you have NBS, it's more what we call the market push replicability. Where can I apply this NBS? So here's the replicability tool. I choose a city. I am in Milano. There is not the 4 cities that are available for the moment are the 4 pilot cities. So I can try to apply it to Nantes where I am now. And then, for example, I try green cemetery. Where can I? Oh, it's quite long. Sorry. Yes, the map appear. Green cemetery. Where can I apply it in the city? Of course, I can't apply it on the roads and on the airport for the moment. And then the tool choose the different land use where this can be applied. In green are where it's well adapted. In yellow, it could be applied, but it will need adaptation of the urban form, etc., the urban planning mode, and in red, it's where it's not adapted at all. I come back to the presentation. So you have run this demo of the tool. So the GeoCluster tool offers different ways to exploit NBS project and entities databases to find NBS or projects with reference for planners that answer to particular issue, and there are very different ways to use it. It's very flexible.
Sont activés.
To conclude this presentation, I have presented the two different tools we offer that use the database and the knowledge we have developed in the project. The visualization tool is more to consider as a tool to discover the NBS world. It is an interactive manner that is adapted for everybody and even for citizens. While the GeoCluster is dedicated to actors who are expecting answers to specific issues. Also note that the project database will be open to new cases, so that a lot of references can be offered to urban planners or to land planners and everybody who wants to use the GeoCluster. This work has been done using our experience. We were focusing first on the target and the privileged urban challenges that are directly addressed by the NBS, and then the other are classified as co-benefits. There are the benefits and the co-benefits. It's a difference. Is the NBS directly implemented to target these benefits, or will it be co-benefits? It's a way we differentiated both of them. They won't be equally targeted because it will depend on the context at the end. And it's then to assess how it can be targeted in a real context. We will have to use assessment tools that will be presented later. Depending on the context, her NBS will or won't address these challenges. So it has been a long discussion between us for some of them, and it's always difficult to decide it. So it must we must be very careful in using it. For example, green roofs, it's still under discussion if they really mitigate urban islands. Yes, a little, but it depends on how many green roofs you will have in the city. So we did it from the literature when we found papers on it, but it will always could be discussed depending on the context. So for replicability, the first criteria was based on the land use classification. We basically we filled a grid, and for each NBS we compared the NBS and the site where it can be applied to to the land use classification using Copernicus databases. So it can be very local, and it's not for the moment, it doesn't mean completely developed, but we will also compare the climates. But it's very difficult to say if an NBS can be applied due to the climate. So what will be done is when you choose a project in a city and you want to apply it to your city, we will compare the two climates and give the show when the climate is very different, so that there will be an alarm explaining, yes, perhaps you can apply it to this seat because it's quite similar and it can be applied to this kind of seat, but the climate is very different. You will have to adapt to NBS because replicability with NBS, it's more adaptation than replicability. It's the same than for the urban challenge before. We did groups and we discussed where this kind of NBS can be applied, depending on the NBS nature. For example, very large urban public park it can be very difficult to implement them in very dense urban city centers, because you won't have place and it's already very dense. And this is the main criteria, and we from our expertise we fill the criteria.
In the NBS fact sheets, you have a section explaining how NBS can interact with other solutions that can be existing solutions. So if you want to know what a mix of solution can give you, you can go on each NBS fact sheets and you will have interaction information in the in one of the section of the fact sheets. You will have in the global platform that Susanna presented you this morning, you are going to have two tools available, the visualization tool and the geocluster, where you can check replicability, see existing projects. And then if you just want to discover NBS and know more about the challenges they have meeting and so on, you can go to the visualization tool. They are complementary.
The visualization tool, you have seen it in 3 languages. We will implement different other languages when we will get the fact sheet translated in other languages. The idea is to translate the fact sheet in different languages and have this access for everybody, even people who don't speak English fluently enough to get information in English.